Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and welcome back to some Spice. In today's video, we are taking a look at BOLDORE in the Great League. As you guys have probably seen in a previous video, I did try out Gigalith in a double smackdown line and quite enjoyed it. So for trying out BOLDORE today, I figured I would use that same team with swapping out Gigalith for BOLDORE and see how it did. And honestly, I was really happy with its performance. Despite the fact that I am getting up in the ranks, I again went positive on the day with BOLDORE. So without further ado, here are some of the best highlights I got. Alright, hopping into the first game, leading Chestnut into Drifblim, an absolutely terrible lead. Good thing is we have two answers to Drifblim. We're going to save swap into BOLDORE and bait out a Wigglytuff. Unfortunately, unlike Bastiodon, we don't have the Steel subtyping, so this is a losing matchup for us, but we are going to be able to get a shield, and then we're going to be charmed all the way down. Since it was a lost lead, I'm going to fully wait the switch timer, and then I'm going to come in with Bastiodon and farm all the way down. The Wigglytuff's going to be throwing. All charge moves from Wigglytuff are resisted, so I can let this go. My goal is to smack down, and therefore I'll be leaving this matchup with a shield advantage and with a loaded flamethrower. And they actually come in with an Abomasnow, so their whole team is super weak to Bastiodon. So we're in a really good spot here. We farm up, and we're able to catch the energy ball onto Chestnut, which is absolutely huge. And from here, we're just going to be able to build up and go straight for the superpower. Superpower is going to be taking care of the Abomasnow, and from here, the game is over. Drifblim is going to be able to come back in, and they can fully hex us down, but at this point, my Bastiodon in the back is entirely too healthy, and we're going to be able to close out this game easily. Energy Ball lands, and then we're going to go for the Superpower to try and make the hexing down a bit easier for my opponent, and we're able to get it quite low. They have a ton of loaded energy, but at this point, I have two shields. I don't have to shield the first one. It's just an Icy Wind. We're again smacking down. I could survive a Shadow Ball here. Don't have to shield this one either. Icy Wind again, and we're able to smack down, and we win with both of our shields still intact. All right, and we're hopping into the next match here. Chestnut into Wishcash. This is a really good lead for us. And my opponent save swaps into Altaria. We counter swap with Bastiodon, and they quit. A BOLDORE never saw the field, but in my heart, they quit because they knew that I had BOLDORE back there. A Kingdra lead, a very cool pick. Kingdra is normally seen in the Ultra League Premier Cup, so very cool. I've actually seen an uptick of it in the Great League as of late. I shield up because I lost count. Turns out it was just an Octazooka. No debuff. I'm going to go for the back-to-back superpowers and then safe swap into BOLDORE. The goal of this team, especially on neutral or lost leads, is going to be to safe swap BOLDORE to draw out their best Bastiodon counter, kill it with Chestnut, and then Bastiodon is able to sweep in the back. They're going to go for the Octazooka. I am going to shield this up because I want to bait out their best counter. And they bring it out, and it is a Unova Stunfisk. So good thing I shielded there, so that way they actually had to bring this out. Bulldoze hits surprisingly hard, and I actually get a fast move through on that offset CMP. Mud Bomb's going to take me out, and then I'll be able to come back in with Chestnut. All charge moves are resisted, so I am going to be able to let this discharge go. Then I'm going to overfarm by 3 and then throw the superpower. This is going to be enough to take them out, and then I'm only 1 away from getting to my next superpower. And they bring in a Skarmory. I switch in the Bastiodon. They bring out Kingdra. I'm able to fully farm down, and at this point my opponent concedes the match because they know there's no win condition. Alright, and we're hopping into the next match here. Chestnut into Mandibuzz. Again, a tough lead. We're going to save swap into our BOLDORE. And as you can see, the BOLDORE save swap can confuse opponents to a certain extent. This is a negative matchup, but they're staying in because they've probably never seen one in Go Battle League before. And now they switch out into Ferrothorn. Unfortunately, I made an absolutely brain-dead play here. I should have gone for Bulldoze, but I went for Rock Slide. So that was a definite mistake by my part. I'm just going to let this go. I can't win this matchup. Oh, and that gives me valuable information. That tells me they have Power Whip and Mirror Shot, so I don't have to fear any of their charge moves when they throw at Chestnut. So I can let all of their charge moves through, and I'm going to be able to farm up an absolute crazy amount of energy here. I'm going to let this go. Again, it's a Mirror Shot. I'm not concerned about Mirror Shots. Mirror Shots really don't do a lot, and as you can see, I'm going to be able to gain a huge energy advantage that is going to help me secure the game in the end game. We do go for the superpower, and now we have over a superpower loaded, so we can threaten the Mandibuzz with a neutral superpower, which even a neutral superpower does hurt, so we get the shield, and now we're able to give Bastidon a shield advantage. And my opponent has their own Bastidon, so very interesting team. Unfortunately, I do fail fast move denial, so my opponent sneaks an extra smackdown through, which is not great. And the Bastidon mirror is not the world's most interesting, so there may be brief moments of silence because, oh boy, this mirror is painful. And here, I'm able to get that free smackdown back by getting one through, which is fantastic. And we're definitely in a tough spot here because my opponent still has that Mandibuzz in the back. And here my opponent actually tries to catch a flamethrower. However, I wasn't quite at it yet and I was going to overfarm. So they switch in and now I actually have the alignment that I want. So my opponent tried to make a play and unfortunately didn't quite work out. I'm able to land the Stone Edge, fully farm them down, and I'm going to be able to get to a flamethrower, and from here I still do have a shield remaining. So at this point they decide to let it go because they know that even if they shielded, I could have switched into Chestnut and gotten to a superpower to take them out. Alright, and we're hopping into the next match here, Chestnut into Ferrothorn. If I'm going to see a Ferrothorn, I want to see it here, so this is a pretty okay lead for me. Hypno, not great for me, so I'm going to counter swap into Bastidon. Bastidon with that steel subtyping is going to resist confusions. I shield up because my opponent built up to the Focus Blast. However, it is just the Shadow Ball there. So a nice bait by my opponent. But at this point, since he's shown me Shadow Ball, he's not running Shadow Ball Focus Blast, so I can just let this Shadow Ball go and fully farm him down, and I'm going to have over a Flamethrower to throw at the Ferrothorn. Ferrothorn, being a Grass Steel type, really does not like fire, so we are going to be able to get that shield back, which is fantastic. And now the Ferrothorn's actually put in a bit of a difficult spot, because a Power Whip is not going to kill me from here, because Bastidon is incredibly tanky. And I'm going to be able to get to another Flamethrower and get that second shield. Which we do, which is perfect, and they're going to be able to fully farm down. However, a lot of people are running Thunder as their coverage move, so I can bring this back in. Ooh, very nice catch. I went for the Superpower onto Ferrothorn, and they had a very nice catch onto Altaria. However, I have Boldore, and Boldore is in a good spot here. I actually don't want to leave this matchup with... I actually don't want to win this matchup and give them farm, so I actually let it go and simul KO. So I actually don't throw a charge move, specifically because I didn't want to give Ferrothorn any extra energy. And they go for a Power Whip, and that tells me everything that I need to know. They're running Power Whip and Thunder. So at this point, actually Power Whip and Mirror Shot. Very, very interesting move set there. Either way, they weren't running Flash Cannon, which is what I needed to know, and we're able to take them out and to give us the game. So another win. As you can see, Chestnut and Bastidon are definitely carrying, but Boldore is putting in some nice work. A Stunfisk lead, and they're staying in, so they may be quite weak to Chestnut in the back. I am building up quite a bit, and as you can see, I'm actually going for the Energy Ball. I'm expecting them to shield the first one, so I want to go for a move that's not going to debuff my later attacks. Go for the Energy Ball, and they actually let it go, interestingly enough. So now, unfortunately wasn't quite able to get off my Superpower. And at this point now I'm just going for the Superpower, and if they don't shield, this will be taking them out, which it does. Whatever they come in with, which as you can see it's a Pelipper, I'm going to save swap into Boldore, and we bait out an Azumarill. And at this point, the game is pretty much over, because we have baited out their biggest Bastidon counter, which is the Azumarill, and they let the Rock Slide through, which is absolutely perfect. They're forced to throw. Boldore is slightly tankier than Gigalith, but not very tanky, so we do get taken out. And since the Azumarill has energy, I'm going to bring back in the Chestnut and threaten a move to force them to empty their energy. And then I'm going to be able to bring back in Bastidon, smack down the Azumarill, and from here the game's over. And as you can see, my opponent does concede the match. So another win for the good guys. Yay, Boldore. Alright, a Pelipper lead. This is definitely not a lead that we want to see. We're going to save swap into our Boldore. And my opponent does go for a Weather Ball here. I actually let it go. As you can see, I can survive it. And my opponent brings out a Bastidon. However, I do have access to Bulldoze. This will be hitting them for massive, super effective damage. Ooh, that does so much to Bastidon there. You absolutely love to see it. Okay. At this point, I'm going to come in with Chestnut. They're able to get to a charge move here. I do need to commit a shield because Flamethrower would hurt. However, I can overfarm by a ton here. I just have to keep watching the Bastidon's energy, and I build all the way up to 100 and throw a superpower, and now I have a lot of loaded energy. They actually shield, which is very interesting, and then I'm going to go for another superpower, and we're going to be able to take them out. So my opponent did not want me leaving this matchup with energy. I'm very debuffed, so I am going to need to switch out basically right away once the Pelipper comes back in. Alright, Weather Ball coming through. I can tank one, so I can let that go. And they bring out a Skarmory. You absolutely love to see it. And at this point, I know the game is over. Skarmory coming out. And really, unless they're running Flash Cannon, which I have seen a few more Flash Cannon Skarmories the last couple days. Nope, it's just a Sky Attack, and we are able to get to the Flamethrower, and this is going to be getting them very, very low. And at this point, I can let this go as well. I'm really not worried about that. Brave Bird, that's fine. And my opponent brings out the Pelipper and concedes the match. So a very interesting team. We are able to get the win. Chestnut into Politoed, great lead for us. They safe swap Wigglytuff, we bring out Bastidon, and my opponent concedes. That's something I noticed is throughout these sets, there were a weird amount of games where the opponent conceded in about 5 seconds. Like, have some faith, guys. You can fight back. I believe. Ooh, a Raichu, a very, very cool pick. The nice thing is about Raichu is all of the electric moves are going to be resisted, so even if they wild charge me, which they do, it is resisted. They bring out a Talonflame, and I have the perfect answer in a Bastidon. I'm going to be able to farm all the way down and leave with energy to threaten the Raichu if it comes back. So we are making quick work of the Talonflames, which is absolutely fantastic. And we're going straight for the Flamethrower onto the Venusaur that has come in. Venusaur is definitely a core breaker for this team. Granted, this team is by no means perfect. There are certain Pokemon, like Venusaur is very difficult. Anything that's a counter user is going to be very difficult as well. At this point, I do decide to shield up because I do have a Flamethrower loaded, and my goal is I need to get that last shield. If I can get that last shield, then BOLDORE can take out Venusaur, but a Venusaur with shields is absolutely deadly endgame. I come in with BOLDORE, and at this point we may be able to smack down, actually, to be honest. So we're going to shield with the Frenzy Plant. That would do a ton of damage. And my opponent tries to catch onto Raichu. I go straight for the Rock Slide. I really do not want to take a charge move. Rock Slide is going to be enough to take them out. And then we're able to smack down and take the win. So a very close game. And even though they had one of our core breakers, we were still able to get the win. All right, hopping to the next match here. Chestnut and a Marowak. Terrible lead. Into BOLDORE we go. And my opponent actually counter swaps into an Azumarill. And at this point, I was thinking it could possibly be Marowak double water. So at this point, normally I don't prioritize winning switch advantage. But in this particular situation, I was thinking, you know what? It's probably going to be beneficial to win switch advantage. So I do decide to commit a shield. And I do go for the Rock Slide. They shield it up as well, and they throw another Ice Beam. I am going to commit both my shields to flip switch advantage, so that way my Bastidon is lined up against their Marowak. And as it turns out, I was actually incorrect. It was a Skarmory in back, so switch advantage actually didn't matter. I could have played it out normally, but I made a call. Sometimes calls are right, sometimes calls are wrong, but the good thing is either way, we're still in a good position to close out this game, because without Azumarill, they have absolutely no answer to a Bastidon in the back. They can throw Shadow Ball after Shadow Ball, that is totally fine, and we are just 100% chilling with Bastidon at this point. We get the shield, and we sneak a smackdown through. Absolutely brutal. Yeah, so at this point, the game is ours. We fully farm down, and they bring out Skarmory, and they are going to throw. Flash Cannon does take us out. However, this Skarmory is not at a move, so we can bring in our Chestnut and get to the Superpower, and Superpower is going to be enough to take them out. And so Chestnut is a Skarmory counter confirmed. You love to see it. Alright, hopping into the next match here. Chestnut into Altaria. Absolutely horrible lead. It's Boldore time. Let's go. My opponent takes a while before switching out into Meganium. And we're going to go straight for Rock Slide, hoping to get a shield since they probably don't know what we have as a moveset. And we get a shield, which is absolutely huge. And even better, my opponent decides to throw. They may have been able to Vine Whip me all the way down, but they decided to throw, which is great. I'm going to fully wait my switch clock and come in with Chestnut. At this point, I know all they can throw at me are Frenzy Plants and Earthquakes. They actually go for an Earthquake. This is definitely not the play. You definitely do want to go Frenzy Plant, as Frenzy Plant gets same type attack bonus. And it looks like they learned their lesson because now they do go for a Frenzy Plant. However, I'm at 2 superpowers, so I do actually have an excess of energy, so I'm going to be able to throw a superpower here and then bail out into Bastidon. And now we have a shield advantage, and there's a Hypno in the back. At this point, considering that they have an Altaria lead and considering how common ABB style teams are, I am fully expecting the Hypno to have Focus Blast so it can be a secondary Bastidon counter in case the Meganium is dead. Unfortunately, I get baited with an Ice Punch, and I'm thinking this has to be the Focus Blast, right? And it's the Focus Blast. We call it, and we're able to fully farm down, and now we're going to be able to launch the Stone Edges at Altaria, and we're in a commanding position to win this game. We land the Stone Edge. They go for a charge move. No charge move Altaria has can even touch Bastidon, so we're fine here. We're going to get it low, and just for a little bad manners, we do switch into Chestnut and go for the superpower to take out Altaria. So in back-to-back matches, Chestnut took out Skarmory and Altaria. You love to see it. Alright, hopping to the next match, picking up a great lead versus Lapras. And it's a Water Gun Lapras, so we're going to want to preserve this leading match. If they have Galvantula, we come in with Boldore. We do need to shield once, because Boldore, as I mentioned, isn't the tankiest. However, we're going to be able to smack all the way down, and we'll have loaded energy for when Lapras comes back. Now we can go straight for the Rock Slide, and they're going to need to shield this up, because this will be doing a ton of damage. As I mentioned, they're Water Gun, so this is a way better matchup for Chestnut and a way worse matchup for our backline. They take us out, we come back in with the Chestnut, and we decide to go for the Energy Ball. Again, I really don't like debuffing myself, so I did actually go for the Energy Ball. They have Marowak, and unfortunately, this is just rock, paper, scissors. Their whole team is designed on baiting out the Bastidon, but since I had 2 SmackDown users, I was still able to absolutely destroy. Again, we can let this through. Bone Club, we're not worried about that. And at this point, my chat was yelling at me to throw the Flamethrower instead of the Stone Edge, so I threw the Flamethrower. And then Lapras comes back in, and we're able to get to the Stone Edge. And that is going to take care of the Lapras and to give us the game. So all in all, Boldore, how did it perform? I would say it performed fairly well. Granted, it's an interesting Pokemon because it's not the tankiest, but it does hit fairly hard, so there's definitely a trade-off. Just a straight rock type with no subtypings isn't the best typing in this current meta, as you're taking super effective from the likes of Galarian, Stunfisk, and Azumarill, but in a double Smackdown line, it did work surprisingly well. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the videos, make sure to subscribe to the channel and don't forget to like the video. And a special thank you to our members here on YouTube. The support has been absolutely insane. Thank you guys so very much, and I will see you guys in the next video.